everyone, my name is Jhanteigh Kupihea and I'm the editorial director of Quirk Books. And today I'm here to tell you a little bit about Whisper Down the Lane, the brand new psychological horror novel by acclaimed McLeod Chapman. So, if you're a horror and true crime fan, you might be familiar with the Satanic Panic era of the 1980s and early 90s, which began with an event known as the McMartin preschool trials. I say event, but in reality, it was a 7-year period in which school teachers and administrators at a daycare in Manhattan Beach, California, were accused of satanic ritual abuse by young children and their parents. There are lots of theories about why Satanic Panic took root in America at this time. It seems to have been caused by a perfect storm of factors, including national anxiety about the decline of traditional American values, an erosion of trust in the government, as well as the rise of notorious predators and serial killers like Charles Manson, Ted Bundy, and the Son of Sam. It wasn't hard to believe that evil was everywhere and could have the face of anyone. What Clay and I find so interesting about this period in general, and the McMartin preschool trials in particular, is how quickly hysteria can spread in an environment like this, with one lie igniting a wildfire of devastation, which is exactly what happens in Whisper Down the Lane. So Whisper Down the Lane follows two characters. In the present day, we have Richard Bellamy, an art teacher at an upscale elementary school in the fictional town of Danvers, Virginia. This is the type of school, and indeed the type of town, where people are socially conscious but also highly privileged. They live in a picture-perfect bubble, and they'd like to keep it that way, especially Richard, who has been successfully suppressing a secret from his new wife and stepchild. He's so good at it, in fact, that he has managed to suppress it from himself to the point where he doesn't even think about it anymore. But that secret threatens to burst this protective bubble that Richard lives in when a class pet rabbit is found ritually murdered on the school's soccer field. Tucked into its entrails is a note for Richard that indicates that someone knows his secret. Soon after, a girl in his class begins showing up with strange marks on her body, claiming that someone named Sean gave them to her. But there is no Sean in Richard's class, though there is a Sean in Richard's past. Sean is our other main character. We meet him as a little boy in a small town in Virginia in the 1980s. Sean is growing up with a single mother who initially seems fun and loving, but is growing increasingly anxious as she struggles to put food on the table and juggle multiple jobs. She has to trust in other caregivers, including an elderly neighbor, who eventually betrays that trust. When a note from Sean's school arrives in the mail alerting parents that a teacher is under investigation for an unspecified act, around the same time that Sean has an unexplained bruise on his body, it's all the evidence Sean's mom needs to believe the worst is happening to her own son. Sean, a sensitive boy who is eager to please his mother, finds himself telling a white lie about his teacher, which snowballs as other children start to echo and build on the lie. Soon, Sean and his mother are at the center of a national story, one that explodes into Richard's life in the present day, threatening his family and his life. Clay smartly identifies that the Satanic Panic era isn't totally dissimilar to the one we live in now, or looking further back, periods like the Salem witch trials. Anxiety leads to storytelling. After all, we have to explain to ourselves why we're feeling anxious to quell that anxiety. But when storytelling goes wrong, it can take the form of conspiracy theories, which can lead to panic, which can lead to witch hunts, which is exactly what happens in this cleverly crafted and terrifying novel. In their starred review, Publishers Weekly described Whisper Down the Lane as a spellbinding psychological thriller and a suspenseful tale of paranoia that will keep readers riveted until the last surprise is sprung. I couldn't agree more and hope you do too. Enjoy the read.